Hello, welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the unit circle that we'll be using in pre-calculus, trigonometry, and eventually calculus. This is a very commonly used subject matter in calculus, and I recall when I was a student in high school having to memorize this, and not until later on in college when I took calculus, and some of you might be taking calculus in high school. Um, but I took it in college. Not until then did I realize the much easier ways to learn the unit circle than just flat out memorizing it. There's just a few tricks that I'm going to show you in this series of videos. I have 4 so far that are set up for the unit circle. I hope to make more. But in any case, let's go ahead and get started, and so I can show you the first little trick to learning the unit circle. There are 3 aspects of the unit circle that you need to know, and the first one is the coordinates, which you see up here, and then you need to learn the radians as it go around the circle, and then the degrees, which is probably the easier of the 3. But this first video is dedicated to learning the coordinates. Okay, so to understand what's going on, you need to understand first that this is a unit circle. It's called a unit circle because its radius is exactly 1 unit. So if I'm looking at a coordinate system here, you have your y-axis and your x-axis. Okay, there's your x and your y. And this again is the unit circle. So it's got a radius all around of 1. So the point on the right side is going to be my x is 1 and my y is 0. Your typical points that you would see on any coordinate system, you'll see in the unit circle as well. The 4 points, the 4 main points. And those are going to be the easiest points to memorize for obvious reasons. So we're going to zoom in to this particular part of the coordinate system. Okay, so 1, 1, 1 all the way across, all the 4 corners, if you will. Okay, and these coordinate points should look familiar to you. If you look on the far left, you have -1 for your x, and then 0y, and then at the bottom, you have a 0x and -1 for your y coordinate. Okay? All right, so these are the first points that you need to know in the coordinate system, right? Now you see other extra lines that I have here, and then you see the circle that I have. That circle is basically the shape that's made when I connect all the dots of the main points that I want to learn in this coordinate system. Okay? So like I mentioned before, these are the first 4 that you want to know. And then I'm going to highlight this upper right-hand corner. Now, again, rather than memorizing the entire thing, there's actually a very intuitive way to learn the unit circle. And if you memorize the upper right-hand quadrant of the circle, then you don't really need to memorize the rest because you'll know it all. Okay? You'll know it all in the way that I'm about to show you. So again, we're highlighting this particular aspect of the unit circle, and I want to find my coordinate points. Right? I already know 2, so if you notice I have 5 coordinate points that I'm looking for, and 2 of them I already have, so I just need to find the other 3. So I need to find the x and the y. Okay? Now, I first start off by putting a 2 underneath every single one, because all of them do. That's a pattern. Okay? Part of understanding this little trick is just understanding pattern recognition, and that's that all of them have a 2 in the denominator position, so that makes it easy. So now I just got to memorize the numerators. All right, so starting off with the numerators, what I want to do is, again, pattern recognition. I recognize that there's a 1, 2, 3 going down on the x point, and then on the y, it goes the reverse, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. I've already got most of it memorized, and I barely just got started. Now, understand that the numerator position is always square rooted. So the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 2 is, well, rather than writing the decimal points and making a really messy number, I'm just going to leave it as a square root of 2 over 2. And likewise with 3, square root of 3. And just like the above, square root of 1 is 1, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And then going back up to my middle position, 2, square root of 2, square root of 3. And that does it. That is my 3 points. Okay? The 3 main points. Now this technique applies to the opposite side as well. Okay, so recognize that particular coordinate point, let me back up a little bit. Actually now I'm going to have to fast forward a bit. Recognize that these points, that I'm showing you are actual coordinate points. Okay? These are coordinate points. And there is a mirror, they mirror the other side of the circle. So they're going to be the exact same points because my x, or here I have my y point is 1/2, and then my x coordinate is square root of 3. Let me get to that point there. So you'll notice that they have the exact same coordinate system, except the one on the left has a negative x. Okay, and that makes sense because if that coordinate point, when you look at the x-axis, I have now moved over to the negative x coordinate points. So it makes good intuitive sense that they are the exact same, with the exception of the x is now a negative integer, and your y remains the same because your y's on this side of the coordinate plane are all positive. So if I look at the y coordinates on the next set of coordinate points, again, the y's are going to be the same because they're on the same level, if you notice. That's why I drew that red dashed line. So it's going to be square root of 2, square root of 2 over 2. Now my x coordinate, again, will be the same because they're at the same position in the x, except the fact that it's a mirror image. So that means that my coordinate on the left, oops, let me back up. My coordinate on the left is a negative x, right? So again, compare the coordinates on the right to the left. You'll notice that they're the exact same with the exception of the left being a negative x. So let's look at the other one. Same points again. Notice the x on the left is negative. Okay, square root of 3 over 3. That means the same thing on the opposite end. Okay, so I don't actually have to memorize all these different coordinate points. I just need to understand the overall arc of what the unit circle is, and it's a circle, 1 unit and radius in the middle of the coordinate system. Okay, so the points on the left are going to mirror the points on the right, and likewise the points on the bottom will mirror the points on the top. So notice on the left, see my coordinate point, negative square root of 3 over 2, and then my y is 1 over 2, and then look at the mirror point on the bottom. It's the exact same, but the difference now is that now my y point is also a negative. If you remember the general rules of your coordinate system that you learned a long time ago, you'll remember that the top right coordinate quadrant is positive, positive. The top left is negative, positive, and then the bottom left is x negative, y negative, and then the bottom right quadrant is x positive, y negative. And you see that that's the same thing that we see here when we look at the overall picture of the unit circle. Okay, so I hope that this shows you that you don't have to memorize it all. It makes good intuitive logical sense, and you just really need to understand the top right hand quadrant and then understand how the other points fall in line after that. Okay, so that does it for the unit circle in regards to the coordinates. I hope this video helped. Good luck in your studying.